Aloha, peace and love to my YouTube family. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I always have to grind myself back into those gears. So, aloha, YouTube family. Welcome back to the Palace of Persephone. It has been quite some time since I posted on here, and I'm kind of getting tired of saying that. I'd like to be a little bit more consistent. I don't want to be one of those people that says they want to be and then isn't. But I think a big reason that I haven't been as consistent is because things in my life haven't been that consistent. But I'm learning, I'm growing, I am ever evolving and changing, and so are you. So I trust you already understand and you already know and are receiving this with grace. But I kind of just wanted to give an update. The last time I remember speaking on YouTube was like things that I was learning in the month of September. And I was like, well, I should do one for October. And now it's already November. So I'm just going to kind of give an update of what has been occurring so far. And then after this update video, I'm going to be sharing videos just like on things that have been coming up for me within my personal life that have helped me to grow and change. And then trust that in sharing it, you will receive the same kind of downloads. And then eventually, if maybe, I've been sitting with whether or not YouTube is the platform. Like, I feel like sometimes people have specific platforms that are just like perfect for their energy field and perfect for like their human design type, their astrological makeup, just all these things. And I was wondering, is YouTube like mine? Like, is YouTube the one for me, or is it Instagram? I don't think it's TikTok because I've tried it and I just get so overwhelmed. But anyway, so if you follow me on Instagram, if you are not following me, then I recommend you follow me on Instagram, or invite you to follow me on Instagram, because I kind of keep more up to date on Instagram because it's easier just posting pictures and do a quick update than sit and record with how much has been changing. But my partner and I are currently in the Texas area, state of Texas. We were just in Austin, and then we were in San Antonio, and we have just landed last night in Houston, where he's basically from. Like, he spent most of his life here. We actually just got back from seeing his childhood friend's son's basketball game. It was so cute to see all these little kids playing like, it was just really cool to see. I'd never been to a little kids basketball game, and they were like really owning it. But anyway, so Dustin and I had left with plans, and this is basically the gist of this video, because this is one of the major downloads that I've received for some time now, but like, I guess it's just taking me a while to integrate, and maybe it's like a Capricorn Rising thing. But we had a plan. We've been doing van life. I'm in the van. It's basically done. I made a cute little shoe rack. I'll probably give a tour at some point. It's a perfectly comfortable inclined bed. We have all our books up there. I've kind of gotten everything almost to a spot where it feels like it flows, where I'd want to show a video because I wanted to wait and see where things made sense. But Dustin and I have gotten into the van. We traveled through Tennessee. I shared a little live about that on YouTube, walking through the Parthenon. I also shared a live walking to the Stevie Ray Vaughan statue in Austin. But we traveled through Tennessee, into Arkansas, into Texas, with plans to get to Sedona for Dustin's birthday, because I really wanted him to get to all of the Vortex locations. And then he got invited to a showcasing, or like, I don't know what you'd call it, but he was invited to see the premiere of Christ-spiracy, the people who created Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy, I believe. They did one called Christ-spiracy, and he was invited to see it. Tomorrow is when it's actually going to happen. As you can tell, we're in Texas. It's going to be interesting to figure out how to get there, but this is what I'm trying to say. I'm getting to my core, getting to the core of this video. So we got to Austin and we stopped, and I did a little check-in on how our funds were looking, like how, based on gas prices, mileage, what it took for us from Virginia to Texas, how much that was, and then basically trying to calculate the distance from Texas to California, and basically realizing math-wise we were not in a frequency or state of being, or not necessarily that we weren't prepared, because the only time that the showing was happening is tomorrow, so it wasn't like oh, let's wait and just take this trip later. It was really divinely orchestrated for now, for the new moon in Scorpio, for the full moon, well, new moon eclipse in Scorpio, full moon eclipse in Taurus upcoming, both occurring while we're traveling. It felt like we needed to go now. So we didn't necessarily have the funds to get all the way to California or even to Sedona, and that was something that weighed on me really heavily. And last night Dustin and I talked about it while we were driving, because we were in Austin, then we went south to San Antonio, but to get to Houston you have to drive east. And so we started driving east, and I could just like feel the difference in me from not being able to go west but going east. It just feels different for my body to be moving itself towards the east coast than moving my body towards the west coast. And so I started getting like really, I guess you could say, I told him, I was like, I don't feel defeated. I felt like I was letting him down. Like, I had all these plans for things he could do in Sedona. I've been to Sedona. I've been to California. I've had these experiences, but Dustin hasn't, and I really knew he's been in a home environment, dedicating most of his last 7 years of his life to family. He hasn't had any time to dedicate to himself, and so I really wanted this for him. I wanted him to be able to go and experience Sedona and to get the downloads and to refresh his body, his physical temple, and to, meet people along the way that were divinely aligned. And we have had some divine moments in Austin and in Texas that we won't forget. But as I was thinking, as a Capricorn rising, I was like making this plan to get him over there and to show him all these beautiful things and places, and I knew there was going to be magic there for him. And then like to know we were going to be going for his birthday, and then to not have any of that happen. He's handled it all so gracefully, and so that made me feel even worse. I was like, I just feel so bad. Like, I tried, like, and so the thing of this video is basically, I was sitting with multitudes of thoughts of like, okay, so I know in order to manifest, you're supposed to be sitting in a frequency of abundance. You're supposed to be sitting in a knowing of what you desire, and trusting that sitting in the container of your body, holding that you are worthy of that desire, that you deserve that desire, that those things start to magnetize themselves towards you. And so I was like, am I not in the right frequency? Am I holding something incorrectly? Or is there a difference between holding a frequency and trusting something's coming to you, but then also just realistically not having the funds to do something like that? You know what I mean? It's been an interesting road to navigate. And so I'm still kind of sitting in the goo of like, because last night it was kind of like hitting me realistically, which is something that I've been working on as just like an earth human, is like my mind and my ideas and my dreams can be so large and like not proportionate to the actual physical experience that I'm living. And so I'm learning to like, I guess, mature up a little bit in that way, and being like, okay, so realistically speaking, this is what's happening, but I still trust, and I still want to listen to spirit, and I still want to follow the signs, and I still desire to listen to those calls and to honor the signs and synchronicities that I see. And technically speaking, Dustin and I only saw signs for Austin, Texas, over and over and over again, specifically just for Austin, Texas. So technically we listened and answered the call. But I just knew Sedona was going to hold so much for him in California. And so we stopped at a couple of shops the last couple of days. Dustin was handing out his business cards as a hemp advocate. And we stopped at Third Eye Healing yesterday. And there was a beautiful group of people in there, and we were sitting, and I was telling one of the girls, I was like, yeah, one of my friends told me once, make a plan and watch God laugh. And that's what it's been feeling like every time I make a plan, every time I try to be structured, every time I try to say, okay, within this amount of time up until the next 6 months, I'd like to do this, 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 and this, and just creating a container so that I can be productive, so that I can feel like I'm propelling and moving forward, so that I can feel like I'm making a difference, so I can feel like I'm growing. And then that plan just always falls through, and it started getting really discouraging. And I'm not trying to like complain, I'm just kind of expressing things that I'm experiencing. It got discouraging because I have all these like planners and stuff, and I'd like draw on my planner in pen, and then I'd have to keep drawing lines through stuff. and then I'd start trying to draw in pencil, and then still have to erase the pencil, and then eventually I just stopped touching my planner, and I just was like, I don't even know if I want to make a plan anymore. But you also need a plan in order to move through this life with purpose. So if any of you, and this is not me saying that I know something that other people don't. This is me speaking on something, and if you have any kind of wisdom or gems or words of advice that you can offer from your life or your own perspective on making plans, or when to make a plan and when to surrender, that would be really appreciated, because I would love to live a life, and this is something that came up too, because my partner was talking about how van life was my dream, and he was learning how to try and move into it and live in it, which also made me feel bad, because to me, van life wasn't us getting to Austin and then having to figure out how to stealth camp everywhere. To me, van lifing is about going into places of nature and being able to have somewhere to sleep at night while you go out and explore all day, and you can meet beautiful people along the way, and you can continue to like spread a good message wherever you go. Van life is just a means to keeping your carbon footprint small. It's a means to keeping the amount of tangible items I have small, so I can stay focused on my actual mission. So I felt bad he didn't even get to see Sedona, and there's so much BLM land out in Arizona and some in California, where he could really feel the difference in what it's like to live like this. So I also felt bad about that. But he said that that was my dream, and I was like, van life is not my dream. My dream is not like, oh, I want to live van life. No, I was glad he said that, because it helped me affirm and understand, like, I don't want to live in a van just because, ooh, I want to live in a van. Living in a van allows me a lifestyle that leads to spending a lot of time in nature. It leads me to traveling to new places and seeing new things, and to getting out of my comfort zone, and to opening myself up to the experience of life. So I told him the van is simply the vessel in which to do so. That also minimizes the amount of things I carry. It helps me to really understand the things that I touch, the things that I use and utilize every day, so I can continue to let things go. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot throughout us going from Tennessee to Texas, and I've just been really desiring and learning how to like surrender to a greater plan, because we do have a date to be back to Virginia, and so it's almost been like this thing within me, like, well, no, something's going to change somehow, something is going to happen, and I know it, and I trust it, and I believe in it. And then you can trust and believe so much, and then you feel discouraged when like you're also telling someone else like, no, I trust and believe, and then they're not necessarily seeing that. So it's been an interesting little road to navigate. But I say all of this to say, I've been learning that as far as making a plan, and then make a plan, watch God laugh. As far as making a plan goes, I suppose the plans shouldn't necessarily be, I plan from this month to this month for these things to happen, for me to do these things, but making a plan from this month to this month of the plans that I have include things I'm doing internally for me, includes things externally that I am to do for others, and allowing kind of like those other pieces to shift and move as I stay focused on the core of the goal, of the central goal. And for me, the goal has always been to make a difference here. The goal has been and always will be to make a difference, and knowing that I came down to the earth plane for a higher mission, a higher calling, and most of us, like a lot of us here on earth, have as star seeds, as light workers, to come down and to live centered in our core, and to plug into source, and to plug into Gaia, and to have like a nice streamlined cord, and to just offer love, offer joy, offer laughter, offer our creativity. And in doing so, we will be provided for. Instead of like my Capricorn Rising way of like making a plan of, we're going to go here, and then we're going to go do this, and then we're going to go do that. Instead of like, I guess it'd be like planning 3D tangible things. And I'm kind of like figuring this out as I'm talking to you guys, so thank you for allowing me the space to do this. But it's less of like a 3D Capricorn Rising planning and more of a 5D Capricorn Rising planning. Like, I want to talk about this and share this. I'm making a plan to share my insight on this. I'm making a plan to share my insight on that. I'm making a plan to spend time reading every day. I'm making a plan to meditate every day. I'm making a plan, and it reminds me too, it's kind of funny, I was speaking to a beautiful being yesterday, and I told her a lot of what I learned in deep meditation on my Capricorn risingness was, as a Capricorn, that Capricorn energy of building, of working, of like creating an empire, was about mapping the mountain of self, as my partner would call it, mapping the mountain of me, and knowing that I am the work I am here to do. And if I focus on me being the work I'm here to do, and I work on myself first, a lot of other things align outside of that. So yeah, so there's been a lot going on, and I just haven't updated you guys, and I haven't really said anything because I was like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. It's part of my French. I don't even know what the F is going on. So I've just been sitting here, letting things happen, learning to flow like water, learning to go with the flow. Trusting the flow, surrendering to the flow, and really having gratitude too, because again, I'm so grateful that we're even in the van, that I even took the time to try and build as much as I did and to really try and create a harmonious environment for us to experience this. I'm grateful for everyone we've met, all the gifts we've received. Like right now we're parked in the parking lot of his friend's apartment complex. We can go inside, we can take a shower there instead of Planet Fitness. We can, we've been graced and gifted with the blessing of other humans here on earth who are just happy to share space with us and support us. I'm grateful that I have somewhere to sleep, that we have the funds enough to get back to Virginia, instead of sitting with like, man, we didn't get to Sedona, but we didn't get to California, but we didn't get to, kind of sitting in that energy doesn't help anyone. So last night as I was sitting with, I was like, well, let me just sit with what I'm grateful for. Let me just sit with my gratitude for everything that I do have and just let go. Which apparently it must be difficult for like a Capricorn Rising, Virgo Mars, Taurus Venus, Cancer Sun. Maybe my Libra Moon is the only thing that's like, okay, well, let's just balance this out. My Jupiter and Libra, let's just balance this out. And to find the fruits from it, which is why I'm talking about it now, is to just like truly understand, like, yeah, things don't always go as we plan, and most likely they don't ever go as we plan because God has a greater plan. And trusting that that God, source, creator, universe, your guides, your angels do have a greater plan for you, and learning to surrender to that, and maybe instead of trying to externally 3D plan, you internally 5D plan. So that's what I'm going to start trying to do. It's going to be an experiment for me. Take you guys along for the ride. I'm most likely going to be recording another video right after this because I do that. I like to, when I'm in a flow and I'm just, have the time and space and I've created it, I set like hey, I'm going to the van, I'm going to record while they're upstairs. I'm going to probably be in the same outfit, sharing for more videos, sitting in the things that I've been experiencing and things that I've been knowing I need to share. I just haven't been. So yeah, this is what's occurring right now. We're currently in Texas, spending some time here over the weekend, hopefully finding somewhere in nature for Dustin to have time to be alone, to reflect over the last 7 years of his life. I really want that for him. He needs that. And yeah, I'm just going to be open and receptive to whatever comes my way, and trust my splenic intuition from my human design to let me know if something is for me or not, and just continue to have trust. And I'm still trusting on something that might be occurring tonight. Is occurring tonight, should I be manifesting. Something that is occurring tonight, which can change everything. So I will update you guys on that as well, and you'll definitely be the ones to know, because honestly, like, the most support that I can receive from the external, like, 3D world is your support as a subscriber in this journey. So thank you for that. And if you aren't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe to join the journey with me as well. It does make a difference just to push a button, and it means a lot. And it helps me understand when I am sharing something, if it does make a difference, to leave a comment or to share your insight, so I understand like where my energy is flowing to. Like if I'm talking about astrology and no one says anything really, I'm like, okay, well, anyone can talk about astrology. If I'm talking about my 8th house stuff, I usually receive some responses from that, but I'm not always, I guess I'm an 8th house stellium, but I don't always feel like I'm sitting in the trenches of the 8th house, so that also varies as well. So if you feel there is something that you take value from that I share, and you'd like to share that with me to help me better understand where the channel may be flowing so I can surrender to that, I appreciate that as well. Okay, well, thank you for listening to the update. It's been an interesting ride the last like 5 years, and that's not just for me, that's for you too. I know it's for everybody. And all we can do is continue to ground. I usually am barefoot. I try to do some deep breathing, singing, dancing, tapping into my body, zooming out and remembering, oh snap, I'm on this planet Earth, and remembering that as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for listening. I will ramble, so I'm not going to ramble anymore. I'm sending you peace. I'm sending you love. Thank you for your support. Wish us the best of luck on this journey. And we'll see you, or I will see you in the next one. As always, until next time.